I always find it really weird when people say stuff like, oh, the Queen, she's done such a good job, hasn't she? She's been such a great Queen. But what does that really mean? What criteria are you judging her on? Because the only reason that we still have the monarchy, the only reason that she's still there, is because she doesn't do anything. That's the whole point. I'm sorry if I come across like a bit of a dick in this video. I just find it so hard to understand the other side of the argument. For me, this is really clear-cut. Especially in the case of Australia, but I think Sarah already did a pretty good job of explaining why Australia has no place for the monarchy. We're our own country, and we should have our own head of state. It's pretty simple. The only thing that I would like to add to that video is to rebut Kiwi's point that she made yesterday that if we got rid of the Queen, we'd also have to leave the Commonwealth. That's not true. There are only 16 countries out of the 54 in the Commonwealth that still retain the Queen as their head of state. Being, however, a British Australian born in London and raised in Oxford, I also think that the UK should get rid of the monarchy, which is a bit more controversial, I know, and a bit less realistic as well, but I'm hoping that maybe it could happen by the end of my lifetime. And here's why! First of all, I'd just like to respond to a claim that is frequently made, especially here on YouTube, after CGP Grey made a video on the topic, and that claim is that the British monarchy makes money for the UK, and I think that is kind of misleading. We've already seen Sarah make this point on Tuesday, and I've seen it crop up in a couple of comments as well. First of all, CGP Grey uses a £40 million figure each year that is incurred to the taxpayer in his video in order to sustain the British monarchy, and that is an underestimation of the true cost because it does not include security costs. There's a Daily Mail article out there somewhere which claims that the security costs are more than £100 million per year. I'm not going to claim that that figure is correct because the Daily Mail is notoriously bad at getting figures right, but let's just all agree that this is a significant cost that we don't know about and could as much as triple the figure that CGP Grey used in his video. Secondly, CGP Grey didn't take into account in his video that the royal family is exempt from paying inheritance tax, so most people who are in the top tax bracket or whatever in the UK have to pay 40% of their personal wealth to the state when they die, but the royal family pays nothing. So for example, when the Queen Mum died, she had a personal net worth of between 50 million and 70 million pounds, so most people, anybody else in the UK in fact, would have to have paid between 20 million and 28 million pounds to the state, but she paid absolutely nothing and it all went to the Queen, who obviously doesn't have enough money as it is. But on to what I think is the most important mistake that CGP Grey made in his video is misrepresenting the ownership of the Crown Estate. Revenue from the Crown Estate makes the UK taxpayer about £200 million per year, but CGP Grey in his video made it sound like it was just due to the generosity of the Queen that we have this money, like she's gladly handing over her private property for the good of the state, which is not really true. To quote the official website of the Crown Estate, the Crown Estate belongs to the reigning monarch in the right of crown, but it is not the private property of the monarch, it cannot be sold by the monarch, nor do the revenues from it belong to the monarch. So really, these lands only belong to the Queen in the most abstract sense, the same way in which all of the ships in the Royal Navy belong to the Queen. These funds have, for all practical purposes, been the property of the UK government for 250 years, and yes, in theory, the next monarch would be able to reclaim those funds for himself, but in reality, the idea of him doing that is quite as ludicrous as the Queen exercising the right that she theoretically has to declare war on another country. It's not going to happen, really. In that situation, the monarchy would be immediately removed from any sort of power, and they know it. Also, let's not forget that when this deal was made, when King George III agreed to start giving the revenues from the Crown Estate to the British government, he also handed over to them most of his responsibilities for paying for the operations of civil government. Which means that if this deal was ever reversed and the Queen did start taking back her money, we should probably also expect her to start forking out from her own personal income to pay for schools and hospitals and police officers. If the UK became a republic tomorrow, those funds would almost certainly stay in the hands of the UK government. But hey, let's stop talking about money, shall we? Because even if we assume that the Republicans are right and the UK monarchy is costing us about £200 million per year, this is only about 0.02% of government spending, so in the grand scheme of things, it's not very much, is it? It's really just a distraction from the more important political issues here, as is this whole celebrity culture that surrounds the monarchy. I think any kind of form of celebrity culture is a bit weird and a bit creepy, and I don't really understand it, but in this case, it's, I think, damaging, because instead of talking about all these problems with the monarchy, we're just talking about how we love the Queen and how she's doing such a great job. And look at Will and Kate's wedding. Did you see her dress? It was amazing, wasn't it? So let's talk about these issues, shall we? We're in a channel that is mainly girls. I'm the first guy to make a video this week, and I dare to say that we're all feminists, but yet I'm the first one to mention that the institution is blatantly and openly sexist. It's the firstborn male that becomes the next monarch, guys, not the firstborn. I know that they're in the process of trying to change this right now, but I don't think think we should be going, oh, how great that they're changing it. I think we should be thinking how bad that we had this sexist institution right up until 2013. Next, the institution is religiously discriminatory. Only a Protestant can become the king or queen because they are the head of the Church of England. If you're a Catholic, forget it. There's no chance in hell that you will become the king or queen because you can't even marry a Catholic. I don't know if you know this. You are not allowed to marry a Catholic if you want to become the next monarch. For example, if Will had married a Catholic last year instead of Kate Middleton, he would have been forever forbidden from ever becoming the king, which is completely ridiculous, and it goes against all of our modern ideals that say that any person, regardless of their religion, should have equal opportunity. But let's get to the real crux of the issue here. Even if they sorted out all of the issues that I've talked about so far in this video, this would not be enough, because at the end of the day, it's not democratic, and it's not acceptable to have a hereditary system of government in the modern age. For me, the monarchy represents everything that has ever been wrong with our society. It represents sexism, religious discrimination, anti-democratic ideals, and old power structures. It's a symbol of the fact that even today there are people in our society that are born with their future made for them, with wealth and power and everything they need in a way that most people, most commoners, can't even dream of. I remember this big controversy when Julia Gillard did not curtsy to the Queen when greeting her when she came to Australia, and I just don't get it. Why does Julia Gillard have to offer her more respect than any other person out there? Because our ancestors took over the UK like 500 years ago? It's completely ridiculous. I don't like it, and we need to get rid of it.